Alright, back with another album review. Today's review is on Deftones' self-titled album. This is Deftones' fourth studio album, and it's a follow-up to White Pony. And it's also their fourth time working with our good friend Terry Date, who once again produced, mixed, and engineered this album. Though Deftones wouldn't work with him again until the unreleased album Eros. More on that in a future episode. Anyways, this album was recorded at 3 different studios: Studio X in Seattle, Larrabee Sound in West Hollywood, and The Spot in Sacramento. Recording lasted from March until October of 2002. Read that Terry Date had become frustrated with the band's slow writing and recording pace, which is probably why they didn't work with him again until 2008. Anyways, this album was released on May 20th, 2003 under Maverick Records. It's mainly centered around alternative metal, experimental rock, and shoegazing. Now, this isn't the first time Deftones would touch upon shoegazing, because they also did that with their second album, which I talked about 2 weeks ago. It isn't just shoegazing that they took influence from, because there are also some trip-hop influences, even though I don't know what trip-hop is. Now, I read that this album was originally going to be called Lovers, but was given an eponymous title because Chino Marino said that Lovers was, quote, too obvious in relation to the context of its material. Read that Frank Delgado decided to stop using turntables this time around and would focus solely on keyboards and synthesizers from here on out. Now, before recording had started, Chino had gone through vocal training after he had damaged his vocal cords during the band's 2001 summer tour. I also read this album cost $2.5 million to make, though Maverick Records ended up finding Deftones for missing deadlines. Now to talk about the songs. This album starts with Hexagram, which was released as a single on August 26, 2003. Now this is a very heavy song, and there was a music video that was made for it. The video is in black and white and features fans entering the building to watch Deftones perform live. I'm going to post a link to the video in the description. It's a great song overall and sets the tone for the album. Now, I need to mention that the single contains a B-side called Lovers, which I mentioned was originally going to be the title of the album. Now, next is Needles and Pins. This song was initially believed to be the album's opening track, after the track list had been leaked onto the internet. At first, the title of the song was Aria, but it was quickly changed along with this track list. I followed that up with Minerva, which was released as a single on April 22nd, 2003. That was just 4 weeks before the album was released. Now, the song has been described as very uplifting, considering the fact that this album is very heavy. There is a music video that was made, and it was directed by Paul Fedor, and there's going to be a link to the video in the description. The single actually has 2 B-sides. The first one is a cover of the song Sinatra by Helmet, and the second is a cover of Sleepwalk by Farina. The cover of Sinatra would end up on Deftones' B-Sides and Rarities album, which I have yet to get a hold of. We'll go as far as to say that this is not only my second favorite song from this album, but it's one of my favorite Deftones songs in general. Good Morning Beautiful is after that, and this is a pretty memorable song. Deathblow and When Girls Telephone Boys are after that. These are both good songs overall. Battle Axe comes next. And the song was featured in the video game Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2. Up next is Lucky You. The song features additional vocals from Ray Osborne. It was also co-written by DJ Cook, who did the drum programming, turntables, and keyboards for Team Sleep. More on that next episode. One interesting fact is that the song was actually on the soundtrack for The Matrix Reloaded, which I will review at some point. That's followed up by Bloody Cape. This is by far the heaviest song on this album, as well as one of the band's heaviest songs. Just listen to it and you'll know what I'm talking about. You mentioned that Chino lets out a high-pitched scream towards the end, and that rarely happens whenever Deftones record a song. It's also my favorite song on this album. Anniversary of an interesting event comes after that. The final song on this album is Moana. Just by listening to the song, you can clearly tell that there are some influences of shoegazing in it. I need to mention that this album was received very well from critics. In fact, it has a 74 on Metacritic. Rolling Stone magazine praised this album for being very diverse when it comes to its style. There were some others who praised it for the band's departure from nu metal. So, the album ended up selling over 167,000 copies within the first week. It actually debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200, which makes it the band's highest charting album to this day. It ended up selling over 500,000 copies and was later certified gold by the RIAA. This means that the album didn't perform as well as the band's previous work. As for my opinion on it, I personally think this is a good album overall. It may not be as good as Deftones' previous 2 albums, but I still enjoy it for what it is. I think it is interesting that Frank Delgado decided to stop using the turntables this time around, so he could focus entirely on keyboards and synthesizers. Of course, that's his decision to do so, and I have nothing against that. It kind of sucks that this album wasn't as successful as the band's first 3 albums, but still got certified gold. It's got to count for something. Now's the part where I question you. Have you listened to this album? If so, what's your opinion on it? And what's your favorite song from it? Do you think this album should have performed better commercially? And let me know in the comments. If you'd like the video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to hit the notification bell to be notified of future uploads. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon with another review.